It's time to head over to the next race. Sports 2000 cars are almost ready to go. It's Brolly's up, almost time for the next race. I'm going to hand over to Dave Goddard, your commentator.
Okay, thanks very much, Ian, and thank you to the Carbonate Lighting Hyundai Coupe Cup. Next up we have something we've not seen until this weekend on BARC TV. They had a race yesterday, the SRCC Lots for Vans Sports 2000 Championship. These cars, if you've not seen them before, you can see them in the assembly area. They are small sports racing cars. They're all powered by 2-litre Ford engines. It's been running for some 45 years, this championship, debuted back in 1977. One of the leading names I remember reading in the early days of that championship was one of Britain's leading female racing drivers, Davina Galitsa, the former Olympic skier. She went on to come close to making it to Formula One at one time, Davina, before she moved into the world of truck racing, of all things. It'd be great to get Davina back out in a truck someday. Okay, the countdown is beginning in the assembly area for the second race of the weekend. They had a race yesterday. Now, effectively, the Sports 2000s are two championships on the same grid because they have the Duratec Championship for the newer Ford engines and the Historic Championship, which is for Ford Pinto engined cars. I think Ian's down there in the assembly area as well, but I can see the board being held aloft, the 32nd board. So I think the cars are very shortly going to be heading out onto the grid.
Right, welcome everybody to the assembly area. As you can see, the Sports 2000 Championship about to get underway. It's going to be an absolute cracker, isn't it? We had them go yesterday. In fact, Michael Gibbons here. They've been given the hurry up. It's time to go out. Let's watch them as they speed out. Josh Law in second there. And they are ready to go. Look at them. Oh, they're so low. They're so fast, these, aren't they? We had race one yesterday, and they were the first race out after. We had a bit of diesel sprint on the track. Today, different story. Track temperature is up. It is hot. It is dry as anything. So these cars can really let loose. Here we go. They're making their way out onto the fastest circuit in the UK. It's race 2 for the Sports 2000 Championship. Hit and roll. Fantastic. We've got a starter yet. Everybody getting out okay. That's what we like to see. We spoke to a number of the drivers yesterday as well. We did have a little chat with them a little bit earlier too. And final few cars just making their way out. So here we go. It is time for race 2 for the Sports 2000 Championship. I'm going to hand over to your commentator, Dave Goddard, to take you through this one. It's going to be good.
It certainly is going to be good, yes, thanks Ian. Let's have a look at the grid. The Duratec cars start at the front, the Historic start from a separate grid behind them. The grid's based on yesterday's results, so it's Michael Gibbons on pole alongside the championship leader in the Duratecs, Joshua Law, Richard Johnson and Colin Peach on row 2, Tom Stoughton and David Houghton on row 3, then we've got Grant Gibson and Nick Bates, Roger Donnan and Mike Turner. They're competing in the Derek Bell class for the senior drivers. And James Barwell survived a spin in yesterday's race alongside Peter Williams. Clive Hayes alongside Ashley Law. Then Peter Brouwer, the Dutchman, alongside John Eiley. Peter Brouwer, the second of the Class B cars. And John Owen and Tim Tudor on row 9. Tim Tudor in the University of Wales row car. On the 10th row of the grid, we've got John Owen and Tim Tudor. The 11th row is Josh Needham and Andy Butler. They both had problems in yesterday's race. Andrew Butler spun out. Then there's a gap, and starting 20 seconds later will be the Historic class. It was a photo finish for them yesterday. John Harmer just beating Nick Hyatt. Trevor Welsh and Peter Needham next, then Chris Snowden, Charlie Hyatt, Mike Fry and Mike Dodd, and Nick Johnson and Andreas Fluth round out the field. There's sub-classes in the field as well. There's 2 classes within the Duratec Championship. Class A for the most modern cars, Class B for cars built before 2007. And there's also Class DB for the drivers aged 60 and over. Many drivers stick with this championship for a number of years of their career. In the Historic class for Ford Pinto engine cars, Class A is for Pinto engine cars built 1987 onwards. Class B for 84 to 86. We haven't actually got any of those here this weekend. Class C in the Historics is for pre-1984 cars. The cars mainly built in the Duratec Championship by the Welsh MCR company based down in Pembrokeshire. And the cars in the historics mainly Lola and Tiger chassis. We've got a few others as well, got a few Van Diemen's, a couple of Gun chassis, and a Lola Fox as well. That's the car of Peter Brouwer, the Dutchman. There is Josh Law. He's only been beaten 3 times in Sports 2000 this year, the leader of the Duratec Championship, including yesterday. So the split grid start there, we didn't see it yesterday because we started behind the safety car following the diesel spillage that had to be cleared up from the trucks. We are almost ready to get underway then. Colin Peach was the winner of Class B, not Grant Gibson, as I said earlier in yesterday's race. Class DB was won by Roger Donnan, and John Harmer beat Nick Hyatt by the scant margin of 200ths of a second to win the historic class. Will any of them make it a double here today at Thruxton? 25 minutes gets underway. The more modern cars move off first. It's a 20-second delay before the historics are released. It's Josh Law who has gone into the lead of the Duratec category in number 91, as we've seen so often before this season. Michael Gibbons in second. Looks like it's the 21 of Richard Johnson into third place. Trying to move up the inside there is Colin Peach in the orange 117 car, I think that is. Everybody round the complex okay. Somebody locking up and running a little bit wide. That was the number 12 car of Clive Hayes. 6 hits around the outside of him, and now the historics will be getting underway as well, heading up towards the complex. So we'll try and keep an eye on both separate races if we can. 6 there trying to move up. That's Peter Brouwer in the Lola Fox, the Dutchman. Leaders Josh Law and Michael Gibbons. Johnson in third place. The rest of them stream out behind. You saw in the assembly area when the marshals were stood next to them how low slung these 2-litre Ford engine cars are. The top cars producing around 200 brake horsepower. They are very rapid cars indeed. They start to head round towards the end of their opening lap. Then Josh Law under fire from Michael Gibbons. Oh, he's sideways. The leader nearly loses it, and Michael Gibbons says thanks very much and goes through into the lead. I don't think there was any contact there between the two of them. Over the line they go. It's David Houghton, number 8, up into 4th position. Colin Peach, the leader of Class B for the slightly older cars, in 5th. Then Tom Stoughton in 6th. We'll pick up the historics when we can as well. Have a look on the timing screen who is leading them as they come through. They're running about 20 seconds down on the field of Duratecs. There's Colin Peach, the leader of Class B in the number 117, the Van Diemen RFS 02. Van Diemen, of course, much more famous for their Formula Ford single-seaters. The cars running wide there coming out of the complex. The historic class leader, I can tell you, is John Harmer, number 27. He's currently second in the points in historic behind Paul Street, who's not here this weekend, so John Harmer does have a chance to take the championship lead. There's Tim Tudor, number 40, driving the University of Wales run car. University of Wales have a campus quite near where the MCR manufacturers are based, down in Pembrokeshire. Number 9 of Andrew Butler in his MCR, the Suffolk race driver. He spun out of yesterday's race, and talking of spinning, that's Colin Peach. He's spun out at the chicane. We'll try and see what happened there. Everybody able to get round the outside. The marshals will have the yellow flags out to warn the rest of the pack. It's the Van Diemen that is stuck there. And just to get it going again. Drop towards the tail of the Duratec pack here. It's a very packed field of cars. And where has he crossed the line? Colin Peach will be down to about 21st place. Yeah, I think he's the last of the Duratecs. One car we've lost, number 25, Josh Needham. His car's given trouble all weekend. We pick up some of the historics now. There's the number 54, Peter Needham. He's leading Class A of the historics. How far behind John Harmer is he? About 2.5 seconds. Third of the historics is Nick Hyatt, number 36. His father Ross Hyatt raced Group C cars back in the 80s, been at Le Mans a few times. Still races historic cars today. There is Nick Hyatt, number 36. Chasing him the beautiful Lola number 46 of Trevor Welsh, 32 of Chris Snowden. He's raced all sorts of things over the years, very successfully in Alfa Romeos, I remember several years back. It's the battle for second in the historic category. There's John Harmer up ahead of them. Snatched the win by a hair's breadth from Nick Hyatt in the historic division yesterday. through behind. That's Charlie Hyatt in the Pegasus Classic Engineering car. See Tiger SC83, number 33, Mike Fry in his Tiger, the 1979 car, in the very early days of the Sports 2000 Championship. I think it replaced the championship known as Group 6 in the UK. We need Colin Fierabend here with us, who sometimes races with this series. He's done so much behind the scenes for Sports 2000 over the years, knows the whole history of the championship. They do have the results available on the Sports 2000 website as well, going back to 1998 in their archive. Perfect for us commentators. There's a battle further forward. That's the number 4 of Nick Bates, the red car there in his MCR. Peter Brewer holding off the number 34, which is Roger Donnan. I think he's leading the Derek Bell class for the senior drivers. Indeed he is, in 9th overall. 111, that is Grant Gibson. I think he's leading Class B, and we've got the 62 car retiring into the pits. That is Nick Johnson. In the historic class, here's Lola. Well, still out in front is Michael Gibbons. 3 seconds back is this man, Josh Law. There's 2 races in 1 to follow here. There is Michael Gibbons. Took the lead when Josh Law made a mistake at the end of the first lap. It's a rare mistake for Josh Law as well. He's only been beaten 3 times, including yesterday this year. Richard Johnson won the season opener at Donington, and Josh had a retirement at Brands Hatch as well. It was Michael Gibbons who won on that occasion. So with 19 minutes of the race still to go. There's John Harmer, the historic class leader. Nick Hyatt tucked in behind the number 54 of Peter Needham, the second in this division. Great to hear the buzz of these 2-litre Ford engines. This is the battle for second in historic. Look at the way Chris Snowden's going, trying to go through the middle in the 32. Nick Hyatt goes through into second in the class, past that beautiful royal blue number 54 Van Diemen of Peter Needham. Now he's under fire from Snowden, and the number 10 as well of Mike Fry, trying to get around the outside there. He's going to dodge his way past Snowden, nearly gets up alongside Needham as well. Mike Fry. Oh, there's a bit of contact there. Snowden gets it sideways, nearly loses it. This is going to allow the 46 of Trevor Welch into the battle as well in his car that certainly does that Lola look like a mini Le Mans racer. Something's happened at the chicane meanwhile. That's number 79 Andreas Floth in his Lola T492. Has he just cut the chicane there, or did he have a spin? We'll try and see what happened here. Lovely looking Lola, the 79. Cedar just loses it on the way in. Round he goes. Onto the grass. That was in front of the leader as well. That could have been nasty if Michael Gibbons had been any closer. So Gibbons leads by 4.5 seconds now over Josh Law. Here's that battle in the historics. There's the historic class leader, John Harmer, with the pink crash helmet, number 27. He normally shares this car with Mark Noiro, the ex-Caterham racers, these two. But John out on his own this weekend in the Tiger SC80. The Tiger Company, TIGA, started by Antipodean racers Tim Schenken and Howland Ganley back in the 70s. There is Nick Hyatt, number 36, now got ahead of Peter Needham. Mike Fry trying his hardest as well. This is the most interesting battle on circuit at the moment. It's a fairly clear cut at the front of the field because Michael Gibbons is pulling away from Josh Law in the Durotex. Richard Johnson is third, some 6.5 seconds back on them. Tom Stoughton fourth, and Grant Gibson, the leader of Class B for the pre-07 cars, is in fifth position. The Derek Bell class led by Roger Donnan. Well, in fact, Gibson had just lost the place to David Houghton, number 8. He's now in fifth. So it's 4 MCRs in the top 5. The gun of Tom Stoughton has got through into fourth. There's the number 9 car, it's Andrew Butler in his MCR. So evenly matched of these 2-litre Ford engines. Who's this moving up on Trevor Welch now further back in the historic battle? That might be the number 13 car of Mike Dodd in his Tiger. Blue and silver car there, yes it is. Peter Brewer at the inside attacks the 148 of Andy Chittenden. He gets through. So Peter Brewer, second in Class B. Will he catch the 111 of Grant Gibson here? Brent Gibson in the Kookaburra coffee car. Peter Brouwer from Holland in his Lola. The Netherlands, I should say. He's now up into the top 10. There's number 8, David Houghton. He's in form. Oh! Our leader has pulled into the pits. Michael Gibbons has got a problem. Michael Gibbons there, so we see him in the background there. He's in pit lane, so Josh Law takes the lead. Richard Johnson second. There is Michael Gibbons. Something's happened to the leader's car. The MCR sports car mechanics will be down there to try and find out what has happened. Hopefully Ian can get down there as well, try and find out what the problem is. And smoke out of the back of, that's the 77 car of James Barwell. No, that's damage, not from the back of it, that's damage to the front, the left front. So he's hit something. How far are the leaders into lapping the slower markers? No, they weren't up to James Barwell yet, so I don't think there's been contact between him and the leader. So something's happened to James Barwell there. Whether he's blown a tyre and that's shredded the bodywork, we couldn't quite see. So it's Josh Law now with the lead by over 6 seconds ahead of Richard Johnson. Tom Stoughton is third. This man, David Houghton, is fourth. And James Barwell was fifth, but we've seen him pulling over. Well, here's our leader, Josh Law. It was too quick for our camera there coming into Allard. Well, it might still just be the 3 defeats this season. There's the number 21 of Johnson, 6 seconds back in second place. Try and find out what the problem was with Michael Gibbons' car there. Maybe the heat's just got to it. Still 14 minutes of the race to go, the longest race of the weekend, apart from the Porsche race we saw yesterday, over 40 minutes of pit stop race. It is Josh Law, number 91. Keen drummer outside of his racing as well. He's certainly keeping a steady beat here at the front of the field. Coming up to lap somebody there by the look of it. There's Richard Johnson in second. Tom Stoughton in third in the number 1. It's like a bit of damage to his car possibly there on the left rear corner. It's now Nick Bates, number 4, up into 5th position. Peter Brouwer has just taken the lead of Class B as well for the older Duratec cars. He's up into 6th, good charge through the field by the Dutchman. Still this battle raging on there in the historics, but it's still John Harmer, number 27, who leads historic Class A. He is, no, Class C, sorry, he's in 19th overall. It's Nick Hyatt leading historic Class A, apologies there. How far is Harmer ahead of Nick Hyatt? About 7 seconds. There's Hyatt, blue car. Peter Needham, Trevor Welch. And the number 10, which is Charlie Hyatt, he's going well. You see your class leaders, still Roger Donald and Peter Williams fighting it out for the lead in the Derek Bell class. In fact, Roger Donnan is dropping down the timing screen. I think we might have lost the number 34. There's a few cars pulled into the pits actually. We've lost Andreas Fluff. Michael Gibbons we saw. The 44 car, which is John Eiley, has pulled in. We've lost Chris Snowden somewhere around the circuit as well. Just caught a glimpse of Roger Donnan going slowly. So I think the heat is getting to these 2-litre Ford engines. We're losing quite a few cars. Peter Brouwer is now up to 5th. Great charge through the field by the Dutchman. Where did he start on the grid, Peter Brouwer? Yeah, started 17th. Finished well down the order in yesterday's race behind some of the historic cars. Meanwhile, John Harmer is moving up on the number 9 of Andy Butler. This is for 18th overall, so the historics mixing it with some of the Duratecs here. 10 laps completed by our leader. The lead gap has come down a bit to 4.2 seconds between Law and Johnson. This is the historic battle further back. There's the historic leader. How big is John Harmer's lead now in historic? About 6 seconds. So he's not under any immediate threat. Unless his car decides to give trouble. Colin Peach, after spinning to the back of the Duratex earlier on, I can tell you, is back up into 9th place and 3rd in Class B. It's Peter Brouwer leading Class B. Grant Gibson second in the class in 7th overall. Andrew Butler now catching number 28, the bright green car, that's John Owen. There's the number 7 further back in the order, that is one of our Derek Bell class runners, Mike Turner. He's in 14th place. Tim Tudor in number 14, chasing the 88 of Peter Williams, who is now leading the Derek Bell class. Derek Bell MBE incidentally is the president of the Sports 2000 Racing Car Club, one of the world's greatest sports car racers, Derek Bell. Oh, and John Owen's gone off in the 28. That's at the complex, I think. Yeah, it's coming out of Cobb. Leader laps him. There goes Josh Law. And in fact, the lead gap has come right down on that lap. Look, Richard Johnson is almost with our race leader, 1.728 seconds. Has Josh Law got a problem now? His last lap was a 1 minute 19.9. Let's have a look again at John Owen there. He goes spinning coming out of the complex onto the gravel there. But we'll try and pick up the race leaders because Josh Law is lapping in the high 1 minute 19s. His quickest lap is a 1:16.1. So whether Josh has got a problem here, there he is. Yeah, Richard Johnson's right with him, just in front of the historic group there. So is something amiss with Josh Law's car? Yeah, he's been caught. There's a spinner there on the right as well coming into the chicane. Didn't see who that was, so there's a yellow flag out at the chicane. Richard Johnson, I think, is about to take the lead, and he's looking for his second win of the season in the Ancaster Leisure Car. He's closing on him up towards the complex. Yeah, Law's last lap was in the 1 minute 20s, and well, Johnson was a 1:19.1, so I think these cars are struggling with the heat here, and there's still 9 minutes of the race to go. Johnson, the 21, won the opening round of the season at Brands Hatch, defeating Josh Law. Leads the championship in Class A and in the Duratec overall. There's a green flag waving there. Is somebody off the exit of the complex? I didn't quite see there because we were watching the leaders. And yes, there is. Great cloud of steam and smoke. Is that fire extinguisher? Number 34, that is Roger Donnan's car. Roger Donnan, the championship secretary, and the safety car is being called. The safety car is being called just as Richard Johnson was looking to make a move for the lead there. The safety car is going to come out because it looks like Roger Donnan's car is on fire at the complex. I would definitely say it is the heat getting to these engines. Now, that's Peter Williams in the pit lane. The number 88 car's gone as well. Now we're losing all our Derek Bell class runners. So who's leading that now? Number 7, Mike Turner's leading the Derek Bell class. And I think he's the only car in that class who's left running. Because there's Peter Williams. We know Roger Donnan's out at the complex. And the other entry in that class was Paul Traherne, and he didn't start. He broke down in qualifying yesterday. There we see the fire being tackled on Roger Donnan's car. He's caught a light. So the safety car brought out with about 7.5 minutes still on the clock. What a race of attrition this is for the SRCC Locks for Vans Sports 2000 Championship. Josh Law is the leader, but he was losing time heavily to Richard Johnson there. Richard had caught him just before the safety car was scrambled. It's Tom Stoughton in 3rd place. Then we have got David Houghton. Peter Brouwer from the 9th row of the grid is up to 5th. Then 6th is Nick Bates, number 4, in the bright red car. Colin Peach back up to 7th after his spin early on. He's gained places hand over fist from about 21st. Grant Gibson is 8th, Andy Chittenden 9th, and it's Steve O in the number 50, the ex-Formula V racer, in 10th. Well, a race of attrition certainly here. I would suspect the heat is responsible. We've still got 3 more races to go up. There's trucks, pickups and MGs still to come. The historic class still being led by John Harmer. Yep, Peter Williams, we can confirm, has retired, so there's only one car in the Derek Bell class for the senior drivers that's left running now, and that's Mike Turner. Their championship being led by Paul Traherne. Well, he's failed to race. Mike Turner's only a couple of points behind him, so Mike Turner's going to take the lead in the championship in that class. Well, Roger Donnan's car soaked in a fire extinguisher. There is Roger, he's okay. That's the main thing. Well, I can now remove the engine cover now the fire is out. You don't want to be taking the cover off, of course, before the fire has gone out, because that would just fan the flames. Just over 5 minutes to go, and with the cars already, I think, being affected by the heat, sitting at low speed behind the safety car is not going to be doing these engines any favours. Or the drivers. .73, that's Ashley Law, ahead of the number 77 car, James Barwell. Saw him in problems earlier. So it looks like Mike Turner's going to take the lead of the in the championship of the Derek Bell class. Peter Brouwer will extend his lead in Class B of the Durotex. Well, can Josh Law hang on in front of Class A and overall in the Durotex category? We'll have to wait to see what happens with the historics. John Harmer closing the gap on Paul Street. We haven't got any Class B cars here for the historics. There have been 4 entries for them this year in previous rounds. David Muse, Rob Hall, Aggie Eugenio and John Dean Bowers. Class C is Harmer's category, ahead of Chris Snowden and Charlie Hyatt. While in Class A it's Paul Street ahead of Peter Needham. I don't think Peter's quite going to get enough points to catch Paul at the top there, even though Paul is absent this weekend. We have also seen Ross Hyatt racing the historics this year, the ex-Group C driver with his Lola, but Ross not out this weekend. So many drivers in this championship, it might be a struggle to get entries in some rounds. Of the Sports 2000 championship this year, sponsored by Locks for Vans. Now, how much green flag racing are we going to get, or is the race going to finish under the safety car? I would say the drivers weaving to keep their tyres warm, but I'll say up to operating temperature, because they'll already be warm. And you'll notice that John Harmer, I think, got the wave around from the safety car when it came out, so that's put him well clear of the rest of the historic category. There's Roger Donnan's car sitting rather sadly by the tyre wall. The lights are out atop the Kia safety car, so we will be resuming racing this time with about 2.5 minutes left on the clock, so a couple of laps to go. Josh Law from Richard Johnson. Now, is Richard going to pounce here as soon as the race goes green? There's a buffer back to third place because Nick Hyatt's there behind them. Okay, here we go. The revs are up. Race resumed. Just over 2 minutes on the clock, and away go Law and Johnson. Tom Stoughton in third place further back. Now, can Josh Law hang on for yet another victory this season? Beaten just a couple of times in the 9 rounds held up to yesterday. Yesterday was round 10, so it'll be win number 8 this year for Josh Law if he can hang on ahead of Richard Johnson. It'll be win number 2 for Johnson if he can get through. This is for second place in the historics. Nick Hyatt and Peter Needham fighting nose to tail. Needham almost scooping under the back of Nick Hyatt's car there. Josh Law has pulled away again slightly, so maybe the safety car periods helped him a little. There's the number 10 closing up as well in this historic battle, Charlie Hyatt. And yes, Law has pulled away. There's Tom Stoughton in third. A lot of the front runners in the Durotex have been eliminated, unfortunately. There is David Houghton in fourth place overall in the number 8. Near the exit of Church. It will be 1 lap to go this time for Josh Law to try and hang on. A 2-lap sprint for the line then after the safety car period. Let's see what the gap was. It was 0.3 of a second behind. That was behind the safety car last time through. This time it's 2.3 seconds as they go over the line. So it's looking good for Josh Law to try for another win. Surviving a scare before the safety car, and Richard Johnson had reeled him in. Stoughton third, then it's Houghton. To 5th place now is Nick Bates. What's happened to Peter Brouwer? He's dropped back. So that means that Colin Peach has come through to retake the lead of Class B. What's happened to Peter Brouwer there? He lost 3 places on that restart. So Nick Bates is up to 5th, Peach is 6th, but Colin Peach early on in this race spun down to 21st place. What a recovery. Grant Gibson is next, then it's Brouwer, Steve O and Andy Chittenden. 10 seconds on the clock, it's going to be a win for Josh Law, and there's the treble one of Grant Gibson in trouble. Another front runner in Class B hits problems. He's going to try and make it to the flag, but it is going to be checkered flag this time for Josh Law. Runs a bit wide coming into the chicane for the final time. It's going to be a win for win number 8 of the season by my reckoning for Josh Law. Takes the checkered flag. Richard Johnson 2nd, Tom Stoughton 3rd. A race of attrition then for the Sports 2000s, but a familiar winner. David Houghton takes 4th. Here's the fight for 5th. It's going to be 5th place for Colin Peach. Comes through past Nick Bates, Peter Brouwer behind them, then Steve O in the number 50. And the rest of them come home. Andy Chittenden sideways over the line there, ahead of the number 12 of Clive Hayes. John Owen, he survived a spin mid-race at the complex. The historic class is won by John Harmer. Historic race, effectively, it is effectively 2 races in one. We'll try and take you through the class winners, because there were so many. Every time a driver seemed to get into the lead of their class, they hit problems there. Josh Law's winning margin 2.6 seconds in the end over Richard Johnson. He's only been defeated 3 times now, 11 rounds held. That is win number 8 of the season for Josh Law. The only defeats being 2 second places and a retirement, and he is surely heading for the Duratec title this year. We'll confirm the results as soon as we can. Josh Law, the winner, ahead of Richard Johnson, Tom Stoughton and David Houghton. Driver of the race for me, Colin Peach. Spun down to 21st place at the chicane earlier on, fought back to 5th and won Class B. Nick Bates 6th ahead of Peter Brouwer, Steve O, Andy Chittenden and Clive Hayes. Class win in the Derek Bell category for Mike Turner in 11th. He ended up being the only finisher in that category. Then Ashley Law, Tim Tudor, Grant Gibson did make it home despite a late problem there. And John Harmer in 15th wins the Historics and wins Class C for them. Nick Hyatt won Class A for the Historics in 2nd in that division. A lot of retirements there, including the early leader Michael Gibbons. And thankfully Roger Donnan is okay after his car unfortunately caught fire. Quite a race of attrition there, then. Number of front runners hitting trouble. We can head down to Ian in Park Ferme to hear from some of the drivers.
Well, hello everybody, welcome to a change of scenery actually. We're in the pit lane here at Thruxton. Here he is, Josh Law, your race winner. Let's go have a word with him. He's going to be a very happy man indeed. Josh, congratulations. How do you feel after that? I love that. Woo. Yeah.
Pretty good, thanks, yeah.
I'm not surprised. It looked hot out there. Bit of carnage at times, was it?
A little bit tricky, yeah, especially when we come up to the back markers, sort of working your way through the traffic, especially here at Thruxton, it's quite tricky, so yeah, it was keeping us on our toes.
Must have been nice to be able to open up and not have to worry about a bit of maybe a slippy line on the start-finish straight.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I think the outside probably is the better side to start, and I got a great start, and then nearly lost it at the chicane, which was just my own fault for not driving very well.
Appreciate the honesty, yeah.
And you know, and that let Michael through, and then I just couldn't quite catch him, and I don't know what had happened, but yeah, through a bit of luck we managed to win it. So.
I'll let you get out of the car, get some water. Well done, buddy. Congratulations indeed. Let's see if we can grab a quick word with some of the other drivers as well. We want to grab. How was it out there?
Hot,
Hot.
very hot. And after the safety car, I managed to catch up to Josh. Sorry, I'm a bit dry.
I don't blame
and
you.
I was so excited that right now we're going to race on, and then I just started, staying in his toe, and I thought there's half a chance here because normally he's gone. I never really see the back of this car, but I had a chance to sort of stay with him, and then safety car came out. So, and then the tyres just went so cold. I mean, the safety cars are so slow for these sorts of cars, and I went in this first corner and just a bucket load of understeer, and I had to lift out. So unfortunately, but no, mine's P2, great. But how unfortunate for Michael. He's awesome round here. I thought he'd gone. And,
he did get the win yesterday, so it hasn't been too bad for him, has it?
Oh, okay, I won't feel too sorry for him. But no, he's had a bit of bad luck this year, but he's a hell of a driver, so just some unfortunate luck for him.
It did look like, actually, I'll let you go anyway, because I know it's hot. Let's grab Tom quickly as well, because it did look like after the safety car restart that kind of Josh, Richard and Tom here just kind of settled into it, didn't you, after the safety car came in? Was that a tyre thing, or just happy to settle where you were?
Just settling where I was, to be honest. The tyres were completely gone, and one of them's actually on the canvas on the front, so I was just driving around to the end, to be honest.
Happy with that?
Yeah, relatively happy, yeah. When the guy spun at the chicane, I lost a chunk of time, and I knew I probably wouldn't catch him then, so it was just a case of driving around, to be honest. But yeah, it's good fun.
Go get some water. It's roasting, isn't it? Congratulations. There you go. Sports 2000 Championship finished for this weekend here at Thruxton, but we're not. Still a lot more to come. In fact,